finding my YouTube channel, welcome. Please remember to hit that subscribe button and that bell. And for those of you that's been following me and supporting me, salute. And for my favorite patrons, always, double salute. Now, today's video, we're talking about the best banks for LLCs. And the reason is, a lot of people, they'll set up their LLCs with these CPAs and attorneys, but they don't know what's the best bank for them to start out with. And it's very important that you do need to know, because this is going to be the fastest route for you to be able to get access to business funding. Okay, and so we're going to actually dive in and explain why these banks are the best. But one of the things that you have to understand, I made a video on how to establish business credit for LLCs, no PAYDEX scores, or net 30s. Okay, so I'll put a link below so you can actually see that video. But the thing about it, understanding that if you're going for business funding, not business credit, not trade credit, I'm talking about business funding, you will find out that 95% of banks, they don't care about a PAYDEX score. They don't care about your net 30s, okay? They care about what type of activity going on in the checking account, what's your deposits like, what's the personal credit like, okay? So if you're trying to get business credit funding, all right, this is what you need to start out with. Now, here's the banks. You have American Express, you have Chase, you have Capital One, Citibank, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, US Bank, as well as PNC, right? Now, if you notice, the most important thing about any of these financial institutions is the Small Business Financial Exchange. The reason is because your lenders, because the Small Business Financial Exchange, along with the SBA, they're the ones that set the guidelines on what's a good NAICS code. I actually made a video about the best NAICS codes, okay? So I'll put a link below in the description for that as well, so that you can understand what NAICS code that you need in order to get funding. All right, so that's number one. Number two, understanding the banks. American Express, Small Business Financial Exchange. That information goes from Small Business Financial Exchange over to Dun Bradstreet. Okay, so American Express does not report to Dun Bradstreet. All right, so then you have Chase. Chase is reporting to Experian Small Business Financial Exchange, with the information shared with Dun Bradstreet and with Equifax. Capital One is Dun Bradstreet Experian Small Business Financial Exchange. Now, I'm not going to talk about net 30s, and the reason is because I want you all to understand that your banking relationship is more important than your net 30s, okay? So that's the reason I'm not going to talk about that in this here video. So I know a lot of you all may have LLCs and you started getting funding, but you also started investing in a lot of net 30s, right? And you're trying to build up your PAYDEX score, you're trying to build a strong DUNS, and assuming that it's going to get you the funding. Most of the time, again, it's all about the relationship you have with a bank. It has nothing to do with Dun Bradstreet. So please understand that. Now, looking at these banks, the ones that I would start out with, if I was had an LLC and I was starting out, I would probably choose the ones that report to the most credit bureaus, right? So that would be Chase, Capital One, Citibank, and US Bank. So those would probably be my top financial institutions. And the reason is because they started reporting that data. That's the reason I tell you guys all the time to make sure that you're depositing weekly into your business checking accounts. This builds up business credit faster than any net 30 in the market, okay? Now, I did do a video talking about the best net 30s and stuff to help you build up business credit as well, all right? But the thing about it, you have to understand that you can have 100 net 30s, but that's not going to guarantee you any funding if you don't have the right financial institutions. Now, some people say, well, I have a credit union, but credit unions don't report. You have Navy Federal. Navy Federal does not report. You can even have Barclays Bank. Barclays Bank does not report. But there is an advantage to having those, in which I made a video, and I'm going to put that video out as well, because having those definitely can help you get funding for your business. But adding to that, in terms of if you're trying to get business credit funding, then these are financial institutions. You should have at least one of these here. Now, yes, let me answer the question before somebody asks. Yes, you can have multiple banks. I have multiple banks for all three of my corporations. The reason is, by you having multiple corporations, multiple banks, you're able to raise funding much faster. Okay? Now, again, people know I'm not a big fan of LLCs, S corporation, DBAs, okay? I'm not a big fan of them. I've been in this industry for a long time. I've seen the results of having a LLC, S corp, and stuff like that. And the thing about it, people that's been running their businesses, been making a lot of money in their business, but because they're in that structure, they're more reliant on their personal credit when it comes to traditional financial institutions. And if they don't have good credit, it makes it harder for them to get funding. Okay? So that's the reason that I'm not a big proponent of that. That being said, understanding if I do have challenging credit, and I'm trying to build up my business credit file for funding, I would probably look for low-hanging fruit or financial institutions that report for me. So again, you have the Capital One Spark Classic. Okay, this card, a 580 credit score is all you need. They pull FICO 8. Now, the interesting thing I keep telling you guys, these banks, they'll give you a credit score, right? But that credit score is not what they actually use when they're pulling your credit. So that's the reason I tell you guys, you have to be very careful, all right? Now, understanding that, so with Capital One may start you out with a $500 limit. Here's the mistake that most people make. Because it's a low limit credit card, they'll just let it sit there. They'll get it approved for it and won't even do anything with it. Well, how come they didn't give me $3,000, $5,000 for my business? I don't need $500. The thing about it, you should take advantage of it. And the reason you want to take advantage of it, because it can report to the business credit bureaus, okay? And the more often you're getting accounts reporting positive information to your business credit file, the better opportunity it is for you to start raising more money. Okay? So even if they give you a $500 Capital One card, I encourage you to please use the card. All right? That's number one. Even if you need net 30s, now let me slow down for a minute. If you need net 30, you may have a janitorial business, you may have a restaurant, you may have a food truck and stuff where net 30s are necessary, okay? Or you may have an office or service business where net 30s are necessary to get more supplies and stuff. I'm not saying disqualifying that, but what I'm saying, if you're trying to get business credit funding, this is the fastest way to help you get business credit funding instead of just investing in a whole lot of net 30s. Okay? So that's the reason I'm telling you. So the way I would play it, if I got a Capital One Spark card, what I would do is look at what products and stuff I would need from a net 30 company. Then I would use that card to purchase those products and set it up on a net 30, right? So that way you're getting two trade lines, one that would report to Dun Bradstreet if that's something that's important to you, and the other one where the information is being reported to the other business credit bureaus. All right. Another card is the secured Wells Fargo card. Now, in reference to you putting your money up front to get access to this card, the reason that you still want it because of the Small Business Financial Exchange. Now, helping you understand why the Small Business Financial Exchange. For those of you that are individuals that may need loans, lines of credit, and you're trying to work with the SBA, okay? If you're trying to work with the SBA looks at your Small Business Financial Exchange file. They also may pull your Experian file. So having at least a 620 would be the closest you would get in order to get approved with the SBA. The best SBA loan that you want to get is your, sorry guys, I'm distracted by my rabbit. But the best SBA loan that you want to get is the SBA Express, because it's a $25,000 loan. It doesn't take that loan to get approved for. Fast turnaround. You don't need a whole lot of documentation. So that would probably be the easiest, depending on what it is that you need the money for. But the Wells Fargo secured card, putting money on it, purchasing product, buying gas for your vehicle and stuff like that. Again, so that it can report that information to the Small Business Financial Exchange. Now, understanding that you continue making your weekly deposits into your financial institutions. What's happening right now in the markets, a lot of banks, if you don't have a relationship with them, a good relationship with them, they won't give you funding. So if you don't have a checking account with them as well as a savings account with them, they're doing a lot of internal scoring. They're changing the game. So where you may have a low credit score, but you may have multiple accounts with them, that's what they're starting to consider, because fintech companies are starting to calculate that in order to help you get funding. One of my favorite fintech companies out in the market that's really trying to help people build up their business credit is DIVVY, okay? And with DIVVY, they report to Small Business Financial Exchange, and that information is shared with Dun Bradstreet. Now, here's the thing about it. They will look at your soft pull, your FICO 9 Experian, okay? So if you don't get approved for a line of credit through DIVVY, all right, they have a business credit program that I continue to tell people, even if you don't get approved for a line of credit, get into the business credit program, because all the information, all the transactions that you have that you're using with their business credit program is still being reported to the business credit bureaus. And that's very important in order to help you get business funding. So that's one that I would definitely leverage, okay? Especially if I have challenging credit, I'm trying to build up my business credit so I can get more funding. This is the way to go. Now, in reference to if you are an LLC and you are generating revenue in your business, but you have a low credit score, then you may want to look at a company like Rapid Finance, okay? With Rapid Finance, they usually work with people with a low credit score, low as 500. Their loans go from $5,000 up to $5 million. You have to be in business at least 3 months, and your monthly revenue has to be at least $5,000 a month. Again, if you already an LLC and you're still needing funding, if you need business funding, then this may be a company. Also, you have MCKENZIE Capital, all right? Be in business at least 3 months. Revenue at least $5,000 a month. Have to have a working bank account. No personal guarantee. Okay? So these are the lenders that if you have an LLC and you're needing to get funding and you have bad credit, these are the lenders that you may want to look These are the lenders that you may want to check into. Also, there's another one, One Park, and I'll put a link below for that one as well. Now, for those of you that may need help with your business credit funding, personal credit funding, you may have questions about your business credit or personal credit, or you may have questions on whether you should keep your LLC or should you switch over, then click the link in the description and schedule a one-on-one consultation. Thank you.